Hello friends, welcome back to another Kurt's Corner. So today's topic is one that I have some experience in, and it's kind of a tricky subject if you're English Curtis. It's a vulnerable subject that many people don't like to talk about because they're too ashamed of what we call stigma and all that fun stuff in the adult world. But it is psych hospitals or mental hospitals or anything within those frames. I have been in, I was in the same one 4 times as a kid, and then I've been in a couple of different ones as an adult. I think I've been in 4 as a kid and 3 as an adult. But there are some good ones, and there are some bad ones, and then there are some that have been good for me that have been bad for other people. It just depends on a lot of different factors. First, I want to address there is no shame in needing a location that offers these services for immediate crisis response. I myself even got, my collar's all wrong, got put in one for 6 months. Kind of like it really wasn't rehab, it was, I really don't know how to describe it. I was a kid, but it was kind of like summer camp. No. It was Camelot Care Center in Knoxville, Tennessee. But it was a group home of sorts for kids with different problems. That's when I got my first diagnosis, because they determined I was such a problematic kid because I wasn't being treated properly medication-wise, which I'll get into a whole nother topic on medication at a later date. But when I went to Camelot, they come up with the diagnosis, or several diagnoses at once. Now keep in mind, sorry y'all, this was the early 90s. So a lot of doctors were operating under the mindset a person can't have multiple diagnoses. But Camelot said I was. And once I started getting properly medicated, things got better for me. Even as an adult, there have been whooshes. And if you follow me on TikTok, you saw that I had one of my whooshes 2 or 3 nights ago. It really wasn't a big whoosh, like a dip. It was just like a woo. But that's one of the things of living with bipolar disorder that I have to go through. Not everything is high octane energy productiveness all the time. Unfortunately, I do get severe depression episodes as part of my bipolar disorder. And that's happened 3 times as an adult. But I'm very fortunate enough because I live in an area where it is very common for people who seek mental health treatment to find acceptable resources. My last stay was over a year ago at a place here locally, and it was a 6-day stay, and I really hate to say this, but I've kind of become an old pro at the game. And I went in there in a vulnerable state, and I was like, yes, I had a vulnerable moment. They watched me for a little bit, and then once I got back on my routine of my medicine, I was a lot better. And that's pretty much all they had to do was just listen to me and medicate me. Now, on the other hand, there are people in our community who are not fortunate enough to have the support of friends, family, and medical professionals. So they constantly live with the ideology of failure and the ideology of I'm not good enough or whatever their struggle may be. They live with it in a constant repeat. But that's where I'm glad to be in the employment field that I'm in, because I get to teach, even outside of work. I am my recovery group and everything. I teach recovery skills, and a lot of times it's a simple, one of my all-time favorite coping skills is, let me think, maybe my second. I'll talk about my first in a minute, but my second is being barefoot in grass. Now, I know a lot of people are like, but I live in the South, y'all. And barefoot in the grass, in the mud, in the dirt, on the gravel is how I grew up. Yes, I had shoes, but I never put them on. So being barefoot in grass just releases, and there goes the train. It just releases tension and allows me to ground myself and allows me to like refocus myself. I'm so sorry if that train's picking up. I don't know with this microphone. But I'm very fortunate to know my symptoms, know my warning signs, know my triggers, so I can usually cut them off before they even happen. And that's what happened the other day. I felt myself getting a little sad, a little down, so I did my number one coping skill, and it's one I encourage everyone to try, is music therapy. I have a friend I have this in common with, and me and him can sit down and play you everything from AC/DC, Aerosmith, to the Andrew Sisters, to Eminem, to CeCe Winans, and Avalon. And it's just, me and him have a musical repertoire that is, I dare say, unmatched. The only people who come close to me and him are DJs. But that's just because for us, me and my friend, music therapy can do wonders for the soul. They have songs out there from screamo, emo, to very sad songs, to upbeat, dance your shoes off. And that's where I thrive, because in my low points, the music just kind of pulls me out of that low and gets me involved. Like, if I want to be very in the presence of my higher power and just worship, I go to CeCe Winans. Come Jesus Come. That's one of my favorites. Now, if I am in a relationship struggle or just really down and about, one of my all-time favorites is Survivor by Destiny's Child. Yes, I know it talks about a relationship, but it's just, the lyrics can also mean other things. Trying to think what else is on my playlist. We'll just look real quick. I don't dare try using MP3 players and all that, because you cannot. Listen, y'all, this may be a little bit extreme, but I have 1 terabyte, an external hard drive, 1 terabyte full of music. It's literally full. I can't put nothing else on it. So I use Spotify. So it's just easier for me to keep everything in one place. There's Come Jesus Come, Fight Song by Rachel Platten, Scars You're Beautiful, Alisa Curry, I Love Me Loud by China Styles. That one's going around on TikTok, really popular right now. Red Lights, Madeline McDonald, I Denounce You Satan, another TikTok one. Gas by Rare Breed, Black Sheep, Ben Fuller. And then if I scroll on down some, Lecrae, Rare Breed, Dolly Parton, Jay Webb, Brandon Lake. These are all mostly religious. Where's my non-religious ones? Oh, Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. That always gets me going. Oh, here we go. Garth Brooks, Colin Baton Rouge, Nelly, Air Force Ones, Like, I have so much music on here. How many tracks are on my liked list? Will it tell me? 1,114 are just on my liked list alone. But anyway, that's my number one coping skill is music therapy. But my biggest thing when it comes to hospitalization is a lot of times it can be scary because you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going to happen. And sometimes you don't feel okay to be in that position you're in. But I have experienced just about 90% of people who work in these facilities are there to care. They're there to help. And usually 9 times out of 10, they will listen. But outside of the normal therapist you got to talk to, like the residential techs, they're there to listen. Prime example. My last hospitalization happened here locally. I talked about it before. I had a situation happen during my stay with them, and a friend of mine, how do I say this and put on YouTube, lost their life due to an accident that was not their fault. And this is a friend that I grew up with. Like, I actually have fond memories with. Like, one of them, when I remember when the Macarena came out, me and him literally just danced and goofed off on the bus whenever it was just me and him, because he was the last one to go home and my mom was the driver, so it was just me and him. We goofed off a lot. Like, it was real good friendship. But unfortunately, that situation happened during my hospitalization. And I remember one of the techs, literally, once I told them what had happened, and he saw me go from here to here real quick, like, and asked what was said to me on the phone, because that's how I got told, was over the phone. And he pulled me into one of the rooms, and he just held space for me to cry and feel my emotions. And that was so rewarding and beneficial to know that somebody just wanted me to let it out and wanted me to be okay. And yes, he got paid to be there. That was his job, was to be a residential tech in this facility. But he didn't have to go the extra mile and pull me aside and talk to me and get me to calm down and all the things. He went out of his way to do that. But there's no shame in needing a hospitalization. Sorry, I had chili last night. It's not sitting well with me today. But there's no shame in needing hospitalization. But at the same time, there's no shame in learning from the situation you're in. Because the situation you're in or the situation you go through will be the lessons that pull you out of tomorrow's problems. So sit with that. Thanks for watching. Bye.